and welcome to today's session. And I want to welcome all the foundation chair people who will be really, this is dear to you as well as to everyone on this site today. First of all, the Rotary Foundation, the mission of the Rotary Foundation is to enable Rotary members advance world understanding, goodwill, peace through the improvement of health and the support of education and elimination of poverty. Your club support of the Rotary Foundation makes a good difference in the lives of people around the globe. So as you know, Rotarians, we do good in community. We do service projects. We raise funds to donate to orphanage. We do all these things to help our fellow man that are in need of assistance. You as a chairman, the foundation chairman, you're not going to reinvent the fundraising. What we are going to do is talk about ways to facilitate programs that have already been established by the Rotary Foundation and Rotary to help those and make those projects successful. How we do this are several ways we do this. And it was mentioned earlier by District Governor Eddie, when you have your Rotary meeting is to step up maybe and say a 1-minute Rotary plug-in, I guess you can call it. And you're going to do that, and you're going to talk about Rotary and what I'm going to talk about here today, and give you some ideas on what you can talk about. This is just a little redundancy here, the Rotary's vision, the mission of the Rotary Foundation. And let me go here. And then the purpose of the district. Okay. We do have a district Rotary Foundation team. As you know, Juan Lita is our co-chairman this year. Maxie Hauser is our chairman this year. And Juan is our co-chairman for the foundation this year. Now, starting next year, Juan will be the foundation chairperson, and Dee Dee will be the co-chairperson. Okay, so the purpose of the team is to help and engage Rotarians and entities to efforts to the Rotary Foundation advance the world understanding. Okay, our purpose is to help you as a Rotary chairman. Our purpose is to provide resources, is to provide programs and to explain those programs where Rotarians, where they donate their monies. They want to know where their money is going to go, whether it be $25, $100, or $1,000. Of course, there are other ways we raise funds, as you know, through the clubs, fundraising services they do. They raise through their fundraising through a raffle or through the some sort of food programs you may have, and then you have those monies and you distribute those funds to the certain areas of focus that we have for the Rotary Foundation. Okay, so this is our team. As I mentioned here, Juan Lita is right now, he's also District Grants Committee. I apologize if this is a little not correct, but Michael Dickerson is also on the Rotary team, and he's under the Polio Plus. Maxie Hauser, excuse me, is our current chairman. Oops, let me go back here, previous. Okay, so anyway, so Rotary chairmen, as you know that there are several ways we can donate, and these are the people of our district that's going to help you get our clubs motivated and promoting those programs that we have so we can grow our services. We have here global grants, annual givings, and scholarships. So where does the money go and what do we use it for? This donations. What are you as a chairman going to tell and explain to those donors why to give to Rotary and what does Rotary do with their money? Okay, it's very important because we all want to know what we're doing and where the money is going. Some of the ways that we do this is that we have certain programs that we call every Rotarian every year. We have Paul Harris Fellows. We have benefactors. We have all these programs, which I'll get into in just a minute. But basically, what happens is that we as a district, we have certain funds that we generate and we get back from the Rotary International, and we use these funds to promote several programs. I mentioned grants, scholarships, and other special events that we have happening throughout the year. Last year we had a disaster. We had the hurricane that hit us, and so we were asked by Rotarians from our district, what are we going to do as a district? Well, as a district, we have to have certain monies in order to do these things to promote and help these people in the disastrous areas. So as a chairman, you as a chairman, um, I would like for you to understand a couple of things. You will get together with your club president, ask them what the goals they have for their club participating with the district foundation. So, for example, we ask that every club donate to the district to help us promote the Rotary International vision. And the vision is that we have the annual fund. The annual fund is supported by 6 areas of focus, as you all know. And excuse me. And so we ask that the clubs participate with us, with the district, with Rotary International. So the goals that the clubs are supposed to come up with, or to come up with, is to propose a certain amount of money that they will give to the foundation, to the district Rotary International Foundation, okay, through the district. So for example, you as a chairman, you would ask your club president and you ask, what are your goals for, goals for participating with the district? And to give you an idea of what a goal would be something like maybe $5,000, okay? Your club is going to pledge $5,000 for the Rotary Foundation. You as a chairman will execute or work with the president and come up with a way to get that $5,000. Okay, would it be fundraising, would it be donor contributions, and so on. Okay, so your role as a chairman, this is your role. You are to conduct inspirational Rotary Foundation programs. That we'll cover in a minute. But I want to bring it to your attention. It's right here. This one right here. Educate club members about the foundation. Encourage club members to participate in Rotary grants and activities to make a contribution. Okay, so these 2 areas I really want you to focus on, because that's the why. That's the why. That's the why you're contributing the money to Rotary. So we want to educate our members about the foundation, as I mentioned what our vision was earlier. We want to talk about the areas of the trustees where they put the monies, where we have 3 annual fund, we have the Endowment Fund, and we have the Polio Plus Fund. Those 3 funds is where you, as a chairman, will educate the Rotarians that will eventually become donors. And as donors, they will ask you or tell you, where do I put my money? And you will educate them saying annual fund, Polio Plus Fund, or the Endowment Fund. So we as a district are going to educate you and train you so you can have this knowledge, so you're not alone. So again, your role, this is your role as a foundation chair. You're going to educate your members in your club about the foundation. You're also going to encourage those members to participate in Rotary International, and Rotary International with the district. And the monies are going to go towards grants and scholarships and other programs that we have established, okay? One last thing, we're also going to communicate the foundation goals set by the district and the Rotary Foundation. Okay, so this part right here, communicate the foundation goals set by the district. Every year, as District Governor Eddie and everyone else before and after, and myself and going forward, we sit down, we look at the past, we look what we've done in the past, what we can do for the coming year, and we set goals. Now, this year was a little different due to the pandemic, where we don't have a lot of face-to-face. We understand that the COVID shut down since March of this year. A lot of clubs did not do their fundraisers, so they don't have enough funds to generate to execute any of their local community activities or projects. We understand that, and so we haven't really gone out and told you this is the goal, this is the number we're going to reach. Okay, well, and we'll get into that in just a minute. I'll give you the state of the district, and I'll tell you where we're at. But I also want to tell you that Communicate Foundation goals, I am going to work with Foundation Chair Juan Lita and Co-Chair Dee and District Donor Eddie and District Donor nominee Kent. We'll talk about the goals for going forward, and we'll give you a number from the district, and that number could be $200,000. Okay, just give you an example. How we're going to get there as a district, and how the clubs are going to execute and help us get to that goal, and why 200,000. And I'll explain that in a minute. But those are three areas we're going to talk about. Okay. So why, these are ways to donate. So why donate? And these are three ways that I found, and this is what we do. First one is, why should I donate to the Rotary Foundation? And then this is your response. Giving works because Rotary works. We are proud that 90.8% of our donations go straight to supporting our service projects. A lot of other charity organizations don't have your dollar going directly to that purpose. A lot of times there's maybe 50% of your donation goes to it, because the other 50% pays their salaries and operating expenses and so on. But you can see here, 90.8% of your donations go straight to supporting the service projects. How does the Rotary Foundation use donations? Our 35,000 clubs carry out sustainable humanitarian service projects using donations like yours. We've wiped out 99% of all polio cases. Your donations train future peacemakers, support clean water, and strengthen local economies. So here is the why, and this is where it goes, and what is the impact here. Oops, excuse me. Lost it. What impact, let me just move this here. Okay. What impact can one donation have on the world? It can save a life. A child can be protected from polio with a little 60 cents. Our partners make your donation go even farther. For every dollar Rotary commits to polio interaction, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation is committed to $2. We got a 2-to-1. I'll talk a little bit more about that right now. So here, you as a chairman, if you get asked, why should I donate to the Rotary Foundation? I've given you one answer. And what does the Rotary Foundation do with those donations? And you can see here the projects that we've done, the 99% of interact polio throughout the world. And then what is the impact of donations? Well, we say that 60 cents can make a big difference to a child. Okay. Now, I'm going to show you what has been done recently and this year and last year with those donations. The impact of the Rotary Foundation, the COVID-19 district grant. We had a grant of $25,000. It was called the disaster grant that we applied for through Rotary International, and I believe Juan, we said that if every club could apply for $500, and you could use that as a COVID grant. And this is the Alice Rotary Club here. What they did was they got the grant money and they use it for personal protective equipment for Halo flight staff. Here's a photo of it right now. So here's an impact of donations and what Rotary does and what their dollar, what a Rotarian's dollar or a donor's dollar will go to. This is what we do. The Rotary Foundation making a difference. This is district grants. Now, we all heard about district grants and how to leverage your monies as a club, okay, and as donors. So those dollars that the Rotarians or donors or the community donates into Rotary, into your club, and that you turn around and give to supporting the district, which goes directly to RI, and we get a record of that. This is what happens here. So I'm going to go a little bit ahead here. I'm not going to talk about what is a district grant, but I want to tell you the effects of a district grant. Okay, so you as a chairman, foundation chairman, says not only does your dollar go a long way, but we can leverage your dollar in a district grant and make it, $3. Okay, as you know, a district grant, you can apply for $4,000 in addition to help your local project. So if your club said had $4,000 and you need another 4,000, you could go with a district grant and get that 4,000. Now you have $8,000. So you can see the difference and the support that you can get from the district by your donations from the previous year or present, and see what we can be done here. So in other words, West Corpus Christi Rotary Club, they use the money to make a bunk bed project. Arlington Sunburst Rotary Club did it for food backpacks for the kids. So again, so when you're asked as to why should I donate to Rotary and what is the impact of my dollar, or where does it go, this is your response. So we're asking you as Rotary chairmen, again, not to be the fundraiser, but to explain and educate to the Rotarians why donate to Rotary and where does the Rotary money go and what is the impact, okay? So here's international district grant initiated by the Rotary Club and other clubs. We have Juan Lira and Juanita Lira here as one. I think this is what $10,000 they did to the institute, the Cena de Technology. This was in Mexico, I believe, no Laredo. Here's a global grant. Okay, here's another thing about where the money goes. The global grant, Guatemala, a global grant for $70,000. Here you can see the participating clubs, okay, and where it went here. And I think this is a little video here. I think it plays. This was a project of WASH. Okay, I'll go on here. Just to give an example what an impact was, I want to thank the Rotary Laredo Club for doing that. So you can see the impact there. That's a video of where that $70,000 went. So, and mind you, the Rotarian maybe only gave you $25, but when you leverage that and you add that to the global grant, the club was able to raise $70,000 with other club members. And you can see where the money went and how it impacted that little boy washing his hands for good hygiene. Okay, so we talked about grants and we talked about, that was one service project there. We talked about backpacks. So now let's get into what the money also does for us here. It's scholarships, okay? This one is a Costa Rica International Opportunity Scholarship. This is a scholarship that is for the university, college or university students selected by the Costa Rica scholars to spend 2 weeks as a volunteer member of a medical brigade in Costa Rica, working under the supervision of medical professionals. Scholars help provide medical service to individuals in need. So what we do here, we have students who are studying in the field of medical, and this is an opportunity for them to go abroad into Costa Rica, work with a medical brigade, and actually get hands-on training into the medical field. Would be checking the blood pressure, checking their heart rate. They go out to these communities and they learn and see firsthand what their skills are going to be in the future. Now, they were not able to do it on their own, but through Rotary and through our donors, through the donations, we were able to send scholars to Costa Rica so they can get that experience. And here's an example. The scholars here at work, you can see them having you can see these scholars here, and you can see these are just photos of some of them right here. And this is what they do. I'm gonna play the video. Okay, so you could see the impact of our dollars going helping these students learning their skills in a country that never been before, and they're having fun doing that. And it was by our donations, our Rotarians donating, supporting the Rotary International Fund and our district as well. So I believe we sent two, and last year, and I think they're like $2,000 or more per scholar. We also have not just those scholarships, we also have the Military Veteran Scholarship. And here's Samantha San Miguel, and she's a recipient of the Veteran Scholarship here. Okay, so the little background of the Rotary Foundation. 1917, the Rotary Foundation began with an initial donation of $26.50. President Art Plump decided to use the funds to do good in the world. Donations are now, in 2020, over $1.1 billion right now. 2016, name of the world's outstanding foundation. Rotary Foundation was one of the world's outstanding foundation by the Associated Fundraising Professionals. We were named a 4-star charity with a perfect 100 overall score by a Charity Navigator. Less than 1% of charity, or less than 1% of charities earn a perfect score. The Rotary Foundation is a 501c3. Contributions are tax deductible. Okay, so how does district? I mentioned earlier the district will set the goals and kind of give you an idea of what we're trying to raise and get these programs going. So as we donate every year, and I asked you a while ago that you as a chairman to get with your president, ask what is the club goal to support the district and Rotary International. And you're going to get a number. And that number is going to be given and paid for and submitted to Rotary International. So what happens is the share program or the share system is a mechanism by which the foundation funding is distributed worldwide. Districts share in the decision-making process by choosing which programs they wish to support, in which they want to participate. Funds from the annual fund are available to districts 3 years after they've contributed. I had mentioned to you earlier, there were 3 funds: the annual fund, the endowment fund, and the Polio Plus fund. This is one fund we're talking about, is the annual fund. So that as a district, we do have a part in decision where to have those funds donated to, and is to the annual fund. And what it's telling us here, it says the funds are available to the districts 3 years after they contributed. Okay, so that's why it's important that we have a goal, a number that we all have to achieve by a district. And I mentioned 200,000, just to give you an example. So let's say 3 years ago in 2016, we had $200,000. So we don't see that return until 3 years later into 2019. Okay, so we get half of that return in 2019. So we're going to get an additional $100,000 here we get to use for those projects that I just showed you, the Costa Rica and the veterans. Am I correct there, Juan? Is it 50% of that? I don't know.
It's the 50, the earnings, the
earnings. Okay. I'm sorry, of the earnings. But just give you an example.
Cut it in half. Yeah.
Okay. So just to give you guys an example where the money, how we're getting that money back. So your goal, your club, they set a goal of $2,500 to donate to the Rotary Foundation. That is added to the other clubs in our district and is submitted to the Rotary International. And as a whole, we get it back 3 years and we get an enormous amount of money back to work with. That's just one idea. Okay. So annual donations are vested for 3 years. Earnings accumulate and divided into 2 pots. 50% goes to the World Fund. The other 50% comes at 59.30. So what I'm explaining here to you as a chairman, you need to understand where the money goes once the money is donated to you or to the Rotary Club. You need to understand and explain to them where the money goes from start to finish, and then what we do with that money. Okay? The Endowment Fund, I talked about that here, what it is, and then the Polio Plus Fund. Polio Plus funds, we have the Polio Initiative. We want to eradicate polio throughout the world. This is a separate fund, and we have separate fundraisings for Polio Plus. And I'll get into that in just a second. And then we had the Disaster Response Fund. This was established quite recently. And as I mentioned, we were able to get a grant for 25,000. We used it for, I think Eddie recently, we gave $5,000 to each regional food bank. So we were able to do that as well. Let me back up here. All right. So as a chairman, what you as a Rotary Club leader can do to support the Rotary Foundation. So you as a chairman have a foundation minute at designated club meetings. District Governor Eddie just mentioned that. Stand up and at your meeting say, I have a report, and say, this is what we've done already. This is how much we achieved with this program or this service project, and this is what the money went for, and this is the impact. Number two, encourage members to support the Rotarian Every Year campaign. I'll get into that in just a minute. That's a program in ways to use and to recognize donors, Rotarians, in their giving. Three, make it easy for members to donate. Rotary Direct, online credit cards, add voluntary, and I'll get into that in just a minute. Those are just ways to donate. Okay, here's a way. Ways to give to Rotary Direct and recurring giving. There's three ways to enroll. You can go online. You can use the enrollment form here, or you can call and have your donation taken out of your credit card on a monthly basis, or you can have it direct on your debit account, or you can mail it in, however you want to do it. These are the minimum contributions by credit cards. And the Rotary Recognition Sustaining Member for $100. When you contribute, now I'm going to talk about the recognitions of that, okay? So a Rotarian contributes $100 or more each year to the annual fund. Again, as I mentioned, you as a Rotarian get to designate where the money's going to go to the three areas, either the annual fund, the Endowment Fund, or the Polio Plus Fund. Normally, we ask you as a chairman to drive to the annual fund because we get a return on that. So the Rotarian contributes $100 or more to the annual fund. And this is the breakdown. You can tell them, hey, for $25 a quarter, $8.30 per month, or $192 per week and 27 cents a day, your $100 will go to the Rotary International Annual Fund. And this is what we do for it. Okay, so here's another example of what a sustaining contribution of $100 can do. For $100, we can provide 3 cataract surgeries in India. We can buy 15 backpacks of teaching materials for a school in Costa Rica. We can feed a family in India or Pakistan for 6 months. We can bring clean water to 600 school children in Africa. This $100, one member that donates, this is the impact that does. Buy food, cataracts, school, water. That's the impact, and that's the why we donate and things we do for our communities. We give back and serve our fellow man. Okay, here's another one. There's another recognition, how we recognize clubs. The Rotary Foundation recognition for clubs at 100% Rotary Foundation giving banner. For every club that earns, clubs earn this achievement for $100 per capita, and every dues paying member personally contributes $25. So if you have a club that has 10 members and they contribute $25 or more, all of them, all 10, to the annual fund, Polio Plus Fund, Disaster Fund, they get recognized as a 100% Rotary Foundation giver. This is it right here. You can see it right here, 100% Paul Harris Fellow Club. Paul Harris Society member, 1,000. Each member, like myself and Eddie and others, and maybe Juan and other people too, we contribute annually $1,000. And in my case, I contribute every quarter. I believe it's $250 every quarter. And my recognition is I get a Paul Harris pin. And this is the first year. And then you may see people that have a blue sapphire here and 4 or 5 sapphires. And that tells you how many years they've been giving. Okay. The donors recognized as a Paul Harris Fellow with a pin is, and this is how it works out. 1,000 donation equates to $250 per quarter, and so on. So this is a way of recognizing those donors, those continuous donors, Rotarians, that give annually on a continuous basis like this. This is called the Paul Harris Fellows. Okay, let's talk about the polio. Another fund that we have here is the Polio Fund.
Excuse me, Armando. Can they ask questions now, or do you want them to wait till the end of your
ask questions? I'm sorry about that.
I think Betsy had a question. Okay.
Hi, good morning, Armando.
Good morning, Betsy.
Armando, I have a question. If we would like to be a club 100% Paul Harris, we need to wait until June 30 to get the complete list, or what happened, for example, if the coming months we get the 100%? We need to wait to end the all Rotary year?
No, well, every year it resets. So July 1 is our fiscal year. July 1 through June 30. Okay, that's our fiscal year. In the year, it's important that obviously we set our goals. If that's a goal that your club wants to do, to be 100% Paul Harris Club recognition, your question is it you have to wait through the end of the year, or is it in the middle of the year? It's when you achieve it. When all the members give and it is received at RI International and is registered, I think that's when you'll get the recognition for that year.
So for example, I know that my club is approx 8 members that are pending to make donation to the Rotary Foundation. They don't have a Paul Harris, but still we are getting new members, and maybe if I don't want to say that I want to detain to admit new members, right? But for example, if in February that 8 members make a donation to the Rotary Foundation, I will have a 100% club in that month.
Well, again, now you said 2 things there. There were 2 things. When every member donates $25, as I mentioned, they can become every Rotarian every year. That's the minimum they can give, right? Well, once you reach $100, you become you become the Rotarian every year. I'll get to that in just a minute. I'll show you what that means. But I want to answer that question. So if all 8 members donate $2,500 and they reach a level, the dollar amount, you become 100% Paul Harris. And then it is that year you'll be recognized. Is that, Juan, can you interject here? And
can I say something about that?
Ellison, yeah, go ahead, Ellison.
Hey, everybody. Yeah, so the way the 100% Paul Harris, and this is just the Paul Harris, not the other ones, but the Paul Harris works, is it's based on the number of members, the membership at the beginning of the Rotary year. So if you have 30 members at the beginning of the Rotary year, 25 of them are Paul Harris or Paul Harris Fellows, and you want to become 100% Paul Harris Fellow Club, then you got to help those last 5 become Paul Harris Fellows. Anybody that you admit during that year doesn't qualify or won't be counted in the qualification, you know, because it's really not fair if you bring somebody on in March and, you know, you expect them to become a Paul Harris Fellow. So you know, it resets, like Mondo says, it resets at the beginning of every year. And so I hope that answers your question.
Yes, it's more clear for me.
Yeah, and Ellison's correct. It's at the beginning of the year, the membership that you have on record, let's say you said 8, let's say 10, for example, and that is the official number that going forward. And so as a chairman, again, as a foundation chairman, and I'm speaking to you as a foundation chairman, like Ellison gave the illustration, if you had 10 and 5 needed, or 25 members and 5 needed to reach Paul Harris Fellows level, you as a chairman will educate that Rotarian and ways to get there. And I'm going to show you here in the next slide. I think it's coming up. But one other fund we have is the polio. And the way we fundraise here, we set a goal, and then we have the clubs contribute to Polio Plus Fund. And also we have our annual district motor ride. That's Michael Dickerson that I showed you earlier. He's in charge of, he's the one that does the motorcycle rides. He picks up donations. And I believe last year we raised close to $93,000 was the number, the name I saw. Ellison, I'm not sure if that's correct or not, but I saw that number there. And we did pretty well. Okay, so that's it. So this is the, oops. Okay, I wanted to show you.
Yes, that is correct, Mondo. It was
Okay.
97,000. Yeah.
All right, let me get you another, I'm gonna show you a cheat sheet of Rotarians here. Let's see if I can get this here. Okay, oops.
Mando, this is Lupita.
Hi, Lupita.
If we have a Rotary member leaving the club and he has foundation points or Paul Harris points, can he donate them back to the club or to a member?
Ellison, would you like to chime in
Yes. Short answer to that is yes, Lupita.
Back to the club or back to a member?
But like I said, the short answer is yes.
Is yes. Okay.
that? All
Okay,
right.
thank you.
We'll help you figure it out.
Okay.
I think it would be back to the club, or he just has to sign off and, give them back. But
Ellison, Juan, this is Lisa.
Yes.
I do have an answer to that because we looked it up
Okay,
earlier
good,
this month.
good.
They can be donated back to the club, or they can donate them to any other Rotarian or
There you
to
go.
someone that they want to support. We, at our last board meeting, we had our foundation training the first week of November, and we had our board meeting that later on that week, and the board decided that's what we're going to do going forward after we looked up, how to go about doing it. That if a member does leave the club, before they leave, before we take them off the roster, foundation points that they may have accumulated are going to be donated back to the club.
Okay, I have a follow-up question, comment and a question. That same person that is leaving your club, let's say that the person wants to transfer from Laredo to a club in San Antonio. Does that person carry the points with him or her to the other club, or do they
They
stay
do.
here?
They will
Yes,
carry
they
those
do.
points because they will be assigned the same
Okay.
number at their new
Yeah.
club. And
Okay.
they're assigned to that number.
Okay, good. Ellison and Mando, this is another question related to what Betsy was saying. Whenever the club, let's say in Betsy's club, let's say she has 10 members and 8 are Paul Harris Fellows, so she needs to get 2 more during the year. Let's say that she gets those 2 more during the year by January. Does the recognition of the club as a 100% Paul Harris Fellow club, does that kick in at the time that they complete their 10 members, or does it have to wait until after June 30th when the Rotary year ends?
My understanding, unless somebody knows something different, is that you immediately, like, it shows up on your recognition on, like on My Rotary and all of that. But
Yeah.
as far as actually getting the banner to present to the club, you don't get that until the end of the year. We have, like for last year, we have a number of different awards to give out. We're going to have a special event to do that. But one of the awards that they actually send to the past district governor is the 100% Paul Harris Fellow Club banner. So, and I can't tell you if there were any last year, but that's kind of the timing on it.
Yeah.
Ellison,
okay.
this is Lisa and Juan. Yes, as soon as they make the 100% Paul Harris recognition
Yeah.
amount and the district signs off on the paperwork, they're immediately recognized as the 100% Foundation Club, Paul Harris Club. but they do
Right.
not receive the banner till the end of the year.
Yeah, that's how I
Right.
understood it too. Okay, thank you, Lisa. That's how I understood it.
Okay, I just want to move on real quick here. So again, I'm speaking with the chairmen, the foundation chairmen, and I appreciate everything that's going on here. We've kind of went over to points and we've done this and that. And that's very good, very important to understand. Don't get me wrong. But let me come back to the foundation chairmen, what the donor, here is a donor, individual donor recognition sheet is. Okay, so to give you an example, you might want to have this with you handy so you can talk about what is a Rotary Foundation sustaining member. It gives you a little description here. It talks about where the money goes or where it can be. And here's a little recognition here, banner. It talks about Paul Harris Fellows. We recognize this one here. You get your name, you get a certificate, you get a pin. Here's another one. Here are the multiple pins right here. Multiple Paul Harris Fellows. You probably see a lot of Rotarians that donate. As I mentioned there, they donate every year continuously $1,000 or more, and they have this pin. And then they have the level here. This is the level 1, 2, 3. Actually, this is the number of sapphires. Okay, you see a blue sapphire around that pin. So you can say the first one is the Paul Harris, and then you have 1 sapphire. That means 2 years, or is it 1 year? I'm not sure. Is it Ellison? Is it 2 years? I think it's the way I understood it.
What it means is that you've given your second $1,000
Paul Harris.
contribution.
Yeah,
Second $1,000.
So you'll
Yeah.
see blue sapphires around the Paul Harris pin. Then it goes down here to 1 ruby. Once you've given 6 years of continuous giving, you've got 1 ruby, and then so on. So you can see that. So whenever we get back to normal and you see Rotarians on their lapel, you see these pins, you see sapphires, you see ruby, you can now identify what that means and what that Rotarian has done. Paul Harris Society, there's another pin here, whose one's given up to $1,000 or more each year, again, given to the annual fund. And these are the recognition pins. Major donor. A major donor is someone that contributes part of their, some sort of monies from their estate. And this is the level here. If you give $10,000, $24,000, you get a pin and you get a nice little sculpture here, okay? And this is the Art Club Society. If you give more than $25,000 or up to $500,000, this is what you receive, this recognition. Yeah.
Sorry, but can I just make a little correction to what you said about major donors?
Okay. Sorry.
So that's all right. The major donor, the 10,000 is as soon as you give in any time period, $10,000 cash. It doesn't have to be through an estate or anything. Just if you give $10,000 cash, so if you give $100 a month for however long it takes to accumulate 10,000, that's
That's what that is. Okay.
So,
Okay. Well, thank you for that correction. And then this is also the recognitions and all the different request societies. This is all the recognitions that we recognize our donors. And believe me, there's people that have this and been in Rotary for many years that have achieved this level. Okay, so again, here's the 100% foundation giving banner. Here is the 100% Paul Harris Fellow Club here. They received this as a recognition.
Armando, may I interrupt? Your slides aren't changing. We're still looking at the district fundraising analysis, which I think before you leave it, I think it's important to just mention that we've got a goal in the annual fund of 122,900. I think that's important for us to see.
I thought let me just see if I can get that out. You'll say this now? What do you see now?
The fundraising analysis.
Still?
I think you have to close it completely, then open it again, maybe, to get the other slides.
All right. No. Okay, hang on.
Out of courtesy, we only have about 10 minutes left.
All right. Sorry about that, everybody.
Okay.
This is it right here, individual donor recognition. Y'all see that?
Yeah.
Okay. This is a little cheat sheet you guys can get on the website. Okay. And this is what it's important for you to have as a chairman, to have that there, to have it next. Well, always have that with you because you're going to be asked that question and you may not know the answer, but here's where you can get the answer. Okay. So I will Let's see here. What else? Okay, sorry. Oops. Do y'all see the website? No. Okay.
Yes.
All right, I'm losing it here. All right, any questions at this point? Will I start figuring this thing out?
Mondo, I do. I'm gonna pretend I'm wearing different hats as a foundation chair, president-elect, and president, and this can be answered by our district governor or whoever. If I want, how do we, you mentioned on your slide about tax deductible. If I'm gonna donate, how do I go about getting a deducted? Do I talk to my treasurer? Does the district or somebody sends us, something how to deduct it? Second, and you kept mentioning it, to work with your president. So if our club during their goals said, okay, we're going to donate $1,000, that's our goal. So we kind of figure that out. So we work closely with our president, right?
Right.
And then second is, how do I know as a Rotarian, how many points do I have to reach, to be a Paul Harris? Where do I go on the website, or do my treasurer knows that? Who has that information on that? And then I think district governor, and I think Elaine mentioned it, is what is our district goal for foundation? What do we want to raise, general? So I, as my foundation chair for my club, to say, okay, well, we said we were going to reach $1,000. We want to reach $1,000 because the leadership team right now and our district governor wants to meet the district goal. I know I asked 5 questions, or maybe
Okay,
anybody can answer that real quick. I would appreciate it.
yeah, Didi, let me answer at least one of them. As far as knowing where your members are in relationship to achieving Paul Harris Fellow status, one of the ways that you can do that is by going on the website and finding what is called the Club Recognition Summary. That's a sheet. It's like a spreadsheet. It's got the names of all of your club members and then the number of points that they have accumulated so far based on their donations to the Rotary Foundation. If any of them have achieved Paul Harris status, it will say PHF. If they have achieved Paul Harris status more than once, it'll say Paul Harris PHF +1, +2, whatever it is. So that's one easy way to find it. And you can tell them. And it'll tell you how close they are to achieving another status.
Okay. To answer that question, where do you find that at? You go to rotary.org.
Yeah.
My Rotary. And then you come down to view goals. You click that on. And then you can get the reports. Well, I guess they're not letting me in. I guess it's letting me out. Okay. So to get that information, you go to myrotary.org, you go to view goals, and you go to resources, and you can put out the reports. And it tells you by club, by member, what they achieved already. Answer that question.
Yeah.
So I want to go back. Let me answer that question about what is our goal. Okay. So, and I had that up there. What is the state of our district? Okay. And you were seeing the district analysis. Let me see if I can pull that up here. Keep losing this screen. Okay. Any questions? Other questions going on? Any comments?
Armando, let me address and I apologize for the background noise. My grandkids came in, and so if you hear noise, that's what it is. But regarding the goal that we saw on that report, it was 122,000. That is not the goal that the district set. That is collectively the goals that the clubs have put into their goals. So if I go through all the clubs and add up their foundation goals, that's what it comes out to at this point.
Exactly.
And then there's also one for polio, and again that's the same thing. So we don't go in and put a goal there. That's tallied by what the clubs contribute. Now, We want to
Yeah.
be closer to what we did last year, maybe a little less, because we're taking into account the effects of COVID and
Yeah.
how the clubs are able to contribute. We understand that it may not be as much as previous years because of our situation, but we don't want to use that as a scapegoat. We want to still challenge our clubs to do the best they can. We understand that we may not be able to get to where we are, but our collective goal this year is somewhere around in the range of about 275,000,
Yeah.
which would be the annual fund and polio. So kind of give that as a benchmark. And then of course I know we're running out of time. We can talk later about what we expect from each club as far as contributing toward that goal.
Yeah.
Eddie, this
Yeah.
is Lisa. Can I just add something?
Sure.
One, I wanted to answer one of Dee Dee's first questions was in regard to the tax status of your donation. When you donate to the foundation, upon receipt of that donation, you get a letter from the foundation that is your tax receipt. It shows that you've given so much.
That looks like this.
My second thought was in regard to our foundation giving. It's important that the clubs remember that waiting till the end of the year is really not in our best interest when you're going to donate. Donations throughout the year are preferable. And in cases like polio, October was polio month. A lot of clubs had fundraisers for polio and raised funds that at this point, clubs should be getting ready to send those checks to the foundation. We want to make sure that money comes in as we receive it so that it can be sent to the foundation. We can get credit as a district and as clubs for our giving. So just a reminder for everyone to go back to their clubs. And if they have, for example, October monies that were raised for polio, let's send those checks to the foundation and get credit for our Polio Plus contributions.
Yeah, thank you for that. Let me add one other thing to that as we wrap this up. If you look on that report that's on the screen, you see there's non-giving clubs and it says 26. So out of 51 clubs, we have 26 clubs that have not set a goal on the foundation. And so that really affects that 122,000 that shows right now on a goal. You look at previous years, we had a lower amount of non-giving clubs. So I'd encourage you, the foundation chairs and club presidents, if your club has not set a goal, I encourage you to think about that and set a goal of an amount you think is achievable and put that in there, and that'll help the number there, that 122,000, that'll raise that up. And then what was just stated, send the money in now. Don't wait till the end of the year, because that just it helps us to know where we are realistically instead of waiting to the end of the year to find out where we are.
Just to close up, I'm going to close it up here, and I want to thank you, District Governor Eddie, for saying that is correct. The goal is set by the clubs, and that's why I mentioned earlier in the presentation that you, as a foundation chair, to get with your club presidents and have that goal established and entered into your Rotary.org goals. And that's the accumulation, what you see here of all the clubs in our district. That's what that's the goal setting. This is what we accomplish. And of course, this is through July. I'm sorry, from July 1 through November. This is not final. But I wanted to give you an idea of where we're at, the annual fund, the Polio Plus fund, and the endowment fund that I had mentioned to you earlier in the presentations. Okay, to summarize, foundation chairmen, I've talked about ways to donate to the Rotary International, why we donate, and what does your dollar do with the impact of your donations, the recognitions to the Rotarians that give generously. You as a foundation chair have these resources so that when you do speak at your meetings about the foundation, you have your why and your how and what the effects are of these donations. The district, as I mentioned earlier, and as Eddie mentioned, it was asked, what is our goal? Well, the goal is set by the clubs. I will talk with, we have been talking about, as you can see, our decline has been going down here in our club givings here, right here. So it is a concern. So we're asking the foundation's chairs to get involved with the district foundation, which is Juanita and the district leadership team, to establish those goals with the clubs. So we don't have these non-giving clubs anymore here. We like to help them out, or at least donate, at least contribute at least a minimum, try to get a minimum and then a target goal and a stretch goal. A minimum could be $500. A goal could be, I've seen clubs have over $10,000. And a stretch goal could mean you may have extra monies you want to donate. Because remember, this does come back to us 3 years later. Okay, so I will just close it with that and open up for questions.
I just have a comment that I wanted to add to what you just said. First of all, I want to thank you on behalf of all of us for sharing that very valuable information. One of the things that we started doing, and I'm glad that it's already surfacing, one of the things that our district Rotary Foundation team is encouraging is for clubs, president-elect, club foundation committee chairs, anyone. If you have a question about anything dealing with the foundation, please send it to us. Email it to us, call us on the phone, whatever, because we want the information to get out to your club when you need it so you can make some decisions about that. The other thing I wanted to follow up on is something that Lisa was saying earlier about sending in your money to the foundation as soon as possible. That is exactly on the mark, because as the sooner the Rotary Foundation gets the money, the sooner it can be invested. And that generates interest and earnings that can come back to us 3 years later when we're eligible to receive the funds. So I encourage you to take note of that. The other thing I wanted to mention is that the next training session we have is on December the 12th. It's 3 weeks from now. It'll be Zoom again. And we will focus at that time on club recognition banners. How can clubs be recognized for the Rotary Foundation? We talked a little bit about that, but we're going to get in much more detail at that time. And our presenter at that time will be Ken Greer, the district governor nominee. So I guess our team wants everybody to know that we're taking our job very seriously, and we want to support our clubs in every way that we can. So when you need help, when you need information, we're there to provide it. Okay.
Juan,
comments. Yeah.
please, I don't think many of the clubs know how to find their foundation report through Rotary.org, through My Rotary. I think they have to be trained on that so that we can start to see our own data and then compare it to the district. So please provide some training on that.
I agree with Elaine on that one.
Okay. When we talk about the reports dealing with the clubs and what the clubs are doing in order to do that. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, because I set a low goal for my club because I didn't know. But when I saw what the district goal was and then tried to divide it by 51, I thought, my goodness, next year we've got to raise our goal. And we've really got to teach people to donate. But I needed to know the district goal, and then I needed to see, divided by number of members, et cetera. How can I help reach that district goal? And that comes through those reports online that we're not looking at.
Okay, good enough. All right, thank you. That's very helpful.
Juan,
this is Lisa.
Yeah, Lisa.
I just wanted to offer, I've contacted many clubs and offered to do this training. I can do it online. I can do it person to person in some cases. And then I can train someone to go into your club and do it. In my club, we're very aware of where every person stands because several times a year, I give a report to the club and I show the report. I show everybody where they sit, where, as far as getting to their next Paul Harris Fellow. We talk about foundation points and how they can give those to other people or use them to help someone else become a Paul Harris Fellow. So it's definitely a training that I give often. And if somebody wants a training, I'm available. Okay, maybe what I'd like to do, if it's okay with you, is I can visit with you after our meeting. I'll call you either later today or early next week.
and we'll set up a time when it's convenient for you, and then we'll send out a notice to everybody about when we can do it. That would be, Saturday seems to be a good day. We can.
Yeah, Juan, it's very specific to clubs. While I can give the training in general, show people how to find the information and how to use it, it's more beneficial if we have smaller sessions that are very specifically used to train clubs where their information is, what their information means,
Right.
how they can use what they already have as a basis to launch, the next, set of goals. And
Okay.
it's very specific. So I think while a group training is always beneficial, to get the most out of it, I think clubs individually need to be shown, this is where you stand, this is where you go, this is how close you are.
Okay, so maybe what we can do is set up a schedule, a calendar for meeting times, maybe about an hour of time. And then we can just send it around and invite clubs to sign up. And then it'll be one club per time slot. And then we'll do whatever we can. And if we need to adjust, we'll adjust. But I think that could be something long-term that we can work on between now and moving forward. That should work out quite well, in fact.
And maybe we
Juan,
can work
excuse
with the
me,
assistant
Juan.
governors. To
Say again?
train the assistant governors
Yes.
first and then train the clubs.
Well,
Yes, that would be great, because I have presentations put together by area. So I can tell you
Okay.
within your area what your individual reports look like and how close each club is to certain goals.
Okay.
We have clubs that have just a huge number of foundation points available to be given out. We have members that have thousands of foundation points that they can give to other members, make people in their family Paul Harris Fellows. There are clubs that are so close to becoming 100% Paul Harris clubs and don't realize it.
Right. Okay.
Real quick, Juan, real quick. I know,
Yeah.
30 seconds. We'll be sending everyone here a copy of the Rotary Direct form. So if you want to share this with your clubs. And second, I also will be sending out a list of all the foundation chairs. So if you have questions on scholarship, you know who the chairperson is, you can call them direct in the annual and so forth. So just FYI, but if anyone wants any other information, I can send it out as well. Thank you so much, Juan. I really appreciate it.
Okay.
And I know we're
Thank you.
after hours and everybody's staying along.
Okay.
It's
We're
great.
using our time wisely, though. That's good.
Yes, yes, thank you.
Does anybody have anything else you'd want to contribute? Okay.
I'm working with Wings to Go to try to see if they can participate with the finding like a weekly place for the 15% donation. But he was asking if we have like an estimate because he has to go through corporate. He was asking if there is an estimate that we have to see how much, Rotary would be willing to spend when they go over there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Cristina, let me visit with you, and we can visit with Marisa and some of the other officers, and then I know that we can provide you with that information. I have no doubt about that. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for looking into it.
Of
All right,
course.
folks, with nothing else, I want to thank you on behalf of all of us on the District Rotary Foundation team. Thank you for being here this morning. It was a great meeting, and looking forward to the next one. And again, if you have questions, please send them, and we'll answer them. But the most important thing, we want to incorporate that information into the training so that it fits right in line with what we're doing. Okay, thank you.